What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp. This is December 7th, 2022. This is your Fightful post AEW Dynamite review. And let me tell you, we just got so much content this week. It's insane. Interviews with Ken Shamrock, with Shaza McKenzie. Don't know why anybody would want to hear that. Interviewing Carmelo Hayes. Jeremy and Steven interviewed Fodder and Angelina Love. At some point, Danny Limelight interview with Grapsody. Just an infinite amount of content. Including last week, an interview with tonight's main eventer, Dax Harwood. So check that out here at youtube.com/Fightful. We'll remind you a little bit more about FightfulSelect.com later on. This guy is heavily featured on that service. It's Alex Pawlowski. Alex, how you doing?
Well, Sean, I'm sour.
Are you?
Yeah, you know why? Because because Kate is doing the post final battle show with you.
Yeah.
And I decided not to have a final battle with my wife. I decided that I was going to forego ROH this afternoon show on Saturday because really there wasn't anything I really needed to see in real time on that show. And we were going to take our daughter to a petting zoo where she can pet an honest to God reindeer. It's going to be the cutest thing in the world. And the entire time I'm there, I'm going to be gritting my teeth in anger that I don't get to watch FTR versus the Briscoes in a double dog collar match. So I'm a little perturbed, but I suppose for a good cause.
As reported by Ass Boys Select, they are breaking the news of these matches apparently now. But you know what, guys? We're breaking all kinds of news at FightfulSelect.com. Just today, we had an update on Miro. We had news on Lady Frost, who is in demand in Mexico and the United States. We had all kinds of stuff. We've got the Fightful Awards voting ongoing right now. We had the post show, just an incredible amount of stuff, just $5. Check it out. You're really, really going to like it. But if you want your question or statement read on the air here, do what our friend JW Pringle did. Says in honor of his shirt, Sean Ross Quack. Whoa. It's been a long time since I've heard the DuckTales theme, so I ain't going to sing it, but I appreciate the super chat. You can also get in Humper Chats over at humperchats.com. Today, Jimmy Van was out, so Will Washington joined me for a special What Do You Guys Want to Talk About episode, an hour of us just answering your questions. Then we headed over and did the post show. I get the feeling that what emerged from the opening segment is going to be one of those segments that we go back and forth through or two throughout the night. So we'll talk about that momentarily. Another quick programming reminder, guys. I know YouTube is not letting you guys know when we're live. I'm working on it. I'm on every social channel possible. They have admitted their faults. We are here live every night, though. That's the answer. Every night. Monday after Raw, Tuesday after NXT, Wednesday in the afternoon, Wednesday after Dynamite. We are here 3 times on Thursdays, in the morning, in the afternoon, and after Impact. On Fridays, we've got interviews that drop Friday night after SmackDown and AEW. This Saturday, we're hanging around all damn day, too. Grapsody in the afternoon, ROH Final Battle later that afternoon. Then later that night, the NXT Deadline post show and scrums. We've got multiple scrums this week. Scrums out the goddamn wazoo. If you are into talking, if you're into the word scrum, this is the place for you right here. YouTube.com/Fightful. Donate your super chats, donate your humper chats. That's how you get your questions or statements read on the air for any of these shows. And maybe you go, well, by God, with all these scrums out the wazoo, I'll get my super chats lost. Go over to humperchats.com. Our good friend Luis takes those down. And you can leave them ahead of time. Just specify what show you want your question or statement read on. And there you go. We've already got plenty of them about this opening segment, but let's go ahead and get into it. Ricky Starks wins the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. Now, I like this because there were a couple of stories that were told within this as well. The Matt Hardy, Ethan Page story, which, again, we broke on FightfulSelect.com, largely written by them, has been one of the better things on AEW TV lately. It's been on Dark. It was featured here. We see the genesis of a Lee Moriarty, W. Morrissey, Jack Perry story. And I really like this version of Lee Moriarty that we saw as well. What stood out to you before we get to the end of this match, Alex? What stood out to you as one of the stories within the stories that you liked?
I guess it was both the beginning of the match and the end of the match had the same thing for me, which was like, so wait, what does the winner get? Because that was the whole. I was thinking the whole way through, and I was also looking at the people in the match, going, okay, well, normally I'd be like, well, obviously, because this is how my brain works. Obviously, they're not going to book this guy to win it because they're not going to put him in a match for the. But I don't know if it's a match for the or the. So I was doing that the whole time. So I was kind of trying to figure out, piecing it together. I'm with you. I love the idea of Lee Moriarty versus Jungle Boy until Christian Cage can get fully healthy. Like, that's a wonderful thing for keep Jungle Jack Perry on TV, feuding with both Moriarty and the big dude William Morrissey now. Like that. I'm always supposed to be cast to me, sorry. But like, the idea of it is it makes a lot of sense for Jungle Jack Perry to do that while you wait for the big blow up between him and Christian, which we anticipate will be happening at some point when he's healthy. The thing between Ethan Page and Matt Hardy, great. I guess I assumed Ethan Page was winning this match because the one person I thought it didn't make any sense to have win is Ricky Starks, because he's got a title match next week, and isn't this match for a future match with MJF?
It's for a shot at the Diamond Ring. Now it's just for the whole damn thing.
So the match next week is for both the Diamond Ring and the AEW World Title.
To my knowledge, yes. To my knowledge.
Well, that was kind of convoluted and confusing the way that they told it, I just think.
So yeah, it's for both now, which I'm fine with. If MJF wins that match, he needs to have brass knuckles made out of the 4 Dynamite diamond rings.
Oh, that he's made. So good.
That's how he does it. Yeah. Now somebody says no, it's for the ring. Hell, man. Either way, also within this story, Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian have sort of had an offshoot thing as well, where Kip Sabian is like, hey, you hit me in the head and now I cannot wrestle Friday. And I'm like, it's 2 days within story.
Yeah.
It wasn't that rough. It wasn't rough. But the graphics said for both. Good. Anyway, Orange Cassidy said, hey, you can have your title shot. And then Kip's kind of like, well, I don't know if I want one, which was very weird. And then it was like, well, you can go pick whoever you want, I guess. So, I mean, that was just a little strange. A lot of people, though, speculating Miro, who Fightful Select has an update on right now about his status. He's good to go. Subscribe, FightfulSelect.com, please. If they parked Miro all year to go back to that would be very frustrating, Alex.
Well, I mean, it all depends on how they're going to do it. If they have Kip Sabian, pick out Miro to wrestle for the All-Atlantic title, and have him beat Orange Cassidy for it, and then Kip Sabian's like, yay, hey, we're friends again, right? And Miro's like, no, we're not.
No, yeah.
And just kicks him to the curb again, and now that's how you get gold back on Miro. I mean, I don't love it, but Miro's on television, wrestling, beating the tar out of Orange Cassidy and getting gold again. That's great. But then he can only he has to wrestle against he's not against Pacific gods, only Atlantic gods. That's who he's feuding with.
Yeah, I just want to see this guy back. And I don't know, I was kind of frustrated when I got word. I'm not upset that he's healthy, obviously. It's just this guy's had 4 matches all year. They were all between all between June and September. It's just very frustrating. Why is he not being used? He's being paid a lot of money to just sit around right now. And they could really use him as opposed to the same few people over and over and over and over again. I don't get it. But I'll tell you what I do get. Ricky Starks wins this match. Ethan Page did great.
He did.
And if it was going to be, it would have been one of these two. So there was some doubt there.
Yeah.
And MJF cuts a promo, and I was like, damn. Well, this sucks for Ricky Starks, is what I thought. And I was like, this is an incredible promo right here. He calls Ricky Starks the Pebble, Dollar Store Dwayne. Also, I want to say they put enough doubt in my mind that Sean Dean might win this too, based on his history with MJF, right?
Yeah.
So he had a good showing. I want to point that out. But MJF, oh my God. When you used to work for the NWA, LOL is all you need sometimes. I mean, even that's like, damn, how's he going to overcome that? He said he was going to skip the Pebble, which is, mini rock, across whatever body of water, right back over to Billy Corgan's NWA.
Right.
Damn. Damn, man. This is one of those things where I'm like, all right, well, how's he going to handle this? How is he going to end up coming back from this? Well, then he just shouldered MJF, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's where they are right now. They're in Ricky Starks country right now. Oh my God. This was, and Dark Saturday says, I can't believe MJF missed the easy home run of calling Ricky absolute rock bottom. There's still time. There's still time.
There's still time.
But man, Ricky Starks fed it right back to him. And he didn't have to go like with a lot of like big one-liners or anything. Yeah. He broke him down, his scarf, his tan, how small he was, not ironing his shirt, any of that. Like he cooked he cooked Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and MJF left just enough room for him to do that. And here's what I like. I had somebody very respected that was in my DMs. It's like, why would he call him Dollar Store Rock? That buries him. And I'm like, it doesn't bury Ricky Starks because there's nothing you can say to Ricky Starks. Like, he might not come up with something that's more cunning than what you just said, but the way that he says it, you are not going to overcome that. And that's what happened here.
Yeah, it is. Joey Bag of Donuts said in a Humper chat saying, it's amazing when you see a wrestler get elevated to superstar status before our eyes. That's what happened to Ricky Starks tonight. Ricky Starks cut the mountaintop is me promo. That's what he did. He said, this is it. I'm it. Ricky Starks is him. That's what happened tonight. He came out there and cut that kind of promo where he announced himself as the guy on the scene. Not yet, doesn't have the belt yet, but he's the guy. Like, it is only a matter of time. Ricky Starks being one of the top 2 or 3 guys in all of wrestling, it's only a matter of time. And it could be 6 months. Or but when he gets there, he's not giving up that spot for a while. Like, he's this kind of exactly how you said it. I'm not even sure if I could name, short of just starting out with, okay, there, Maxi Pad, like starting that off, getting something everyone can chant to piss off Max. It's perfect. And then whatever he launches into, like, I couldn't even tell you like the turn of phrase that MJF uses when he has things like a metaphor. You're a pebble, so I'm going to put you in my pocket, and then I'm going to beat you. I'm going to take you, the pebble, I'm going to skip you across all the way back to Billy Corgan's NWA. He sat up late last night writing that out perfectly, and that's fine. That's great for MJF. Ricky Starks went into that ring having no clue what he was going to say and just murdered MJF right before our very eyes. This was so it's all about the natural just ability to flow. Like, he never stopped everything that I counted a few like little flubs, but it doesn't matter because when you speak with the kind of passion that Ricky Starks did tonight, all of that's gonna fall by the wayside. It felt like
none of it was written. It felt like none of, and I'm sure some of it was. Sawyer says Ricky effing Starks, and Tom LaValle says Starks buried MJF's shoes and compared to Ricky's shoe game. Folks, where's the lie? It says Ricky is an absolute piece, should win the belt ultimately. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it ain't gonna happen next week, but it'd be wild. Like, if Ricky just bam, won the title, and then they switch it back immediately.
And
he's like, reign of terror, my ass type of thing.
Yeah. I keep saying this. I think that there is an amazing story in Ricky Starks announces himself as the guy to watch out for in the next couple of years, has the first title shot against Max. Max obviously does something underhanded to retain the title, and then spends the next year basically running from Ricky Starks through all making him jump through hoops that he can't possibly jump through, while defending it a few more times against other guys, while Ricky Starks is involved with, let's say, Swerve or Malachi Black or whoever Swerve is, Ricky, but he's always in the back of your mind is, that's the guy, man. That's the guy. And a year from now, when MJF is about to take the belt to the Fed or whatever they're going to start calling it, that having Ricky Starks be the guy who ultimately beats him for the title a year after his first title shot, that's one of those AEW type stories where they can tell it over the course of a full year, and when it pays off, it's going to be huge.
Chi-Town Spurs says better than moi. I mean, that's it. Ricky Starks proved what so many people already knew, that he is an anchor of this company, that he is an anchor, that this is one of the guys you want to build around, that isn't something that we've seen a million times. Yeah. He's a guy that he's fresh. He's what that main event scene needs. And I love Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, and Chris Jericho is doing his thing, but you need guys like Ricky Starks. You need Ricky Starks up there. You need fresh, new. So much of what made AEW hot was the fresh, the new, the different than what you were seeing on Mondays and Fridays. And Jambeard says, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way Ricky won wasn't the same way Rock got rid of Big Show in the Rumble. Well, yeah, except the Rock's feet actually hit the ground first. So there was that. Yeah. Shauna says, I wasn't a fan of Ricky Starks, but this promo changed my mind. He knocked MJF out of his shoes. Yes. MJF kicks Ricky in the balls, takes his sweet time, as cocky as he is, setting up, punching him in the face. And instead, Ricky Starks spears him quite literally out of his shoes, Alex.
So good.
I love that you could see MJF kicking his feet up into the air to get them off. I don't think you needed to make Ricky Starks here, but you did make Ricky Starks here.
Yeah, you did.
You absolutely made him here.
Yep. He's made. He's a made man.
And it is not easy to pull off the type of thing that Ricky Starks is pulling off, which is just a guy who is very confident in himself, talks all kinds of shit, and gets people to cheer him.
Yeah.
Brent Lockman says, MJF and Starks can't end on Wednesday. This needs to go on. They have something real special here. Well, MJF also did set up a little something with Bryan Danielson as well. Said like, oh, you're not here tonight. You're scared of me. The thing is, I just feel like Danielson has taken an awful lot of losses lately to be in that spot. Now, he beat Dax, but I mean, he just got an ROH world title shot and all that. I just feel like he's lost a lot to Jericho, is what it feels like.
Well, that's
in reality,
thing, though.
In reality, he's beaten like Menard and Sammy and Dax.
I think the program for Revolution is got to be Danielson. After the whole thing with Regal, what they did with Regal tonight, the fact that apparently Regal has been at the hospital for a week and Bryan Danielson hasn't left his hospital room. Hey, this is the story you're telling, is that it's also on the West Coast. That's Bryan's territory. There's some place that you can go there for that. I think that the story of MJF saying, I can beat the best wrestler ever, and then doing it, albeit while cheating, will be able to be something he can hang his hat on for the next year.
So also another great line, Ricky Starks talking about all the responsibility that MJF has and doesn't want. He's like, I take it, and I'm going to take some of that responsibility off your plate, little man. This is going to be one of those promos. I think we're going to get super chats about this throughout the whole night, and I'm okay with that because this was just outstanding. Irene says the benefit of having an amazing young heel like MJF who's killer on the mic is that when somebody like Ricky bodies him, it's a star-making moment. Yes, and MJF could throw some real tough shit at him, and Ricky's like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't bother me. Go ahead, give it to me. Like, you're not gonna have MJF and Ricky Starks pissy at each other backstage over lines that they throw because each one of them feels like they can ether the other one. And that's a level of confidence that you need to work, especially in this environment where so much of this audience is plugged in to every little criticism about the other person. Yep. We see it so often.
Yep.
Jambeard says DDP was the people's champ, then The Rock was. Ricky should be the next one to get called that. I see it. I see that in him. I see a lot of that DDP in him as well, except he knows how to tape his ribs right. We also saw a segment backstage that was apparently filmed a couple of weeks ago with William Regal. Now, FightfulSelect.com, best $5 in the business, reported last week, hey, his deal's actually up this month. It ain't 1 year, it ain't 3 years, it ain't any of that. It's up this month. Tony Khan on the media scrum, which is on youtube.com/Fightful, confirmed that he is done with AEW at the end of the year through the holidays. Tony Khan unfortunately revealed that his mother sustained a couple of strokes this fall, and we're sending our love for that. And he said that around that time, Regal had asked for his release so he would be able to work with his son. And there was a conversation that those two had where he said, if you were in my shoes, what would you want to do? And Tony said, you know what, you're right. And they granted a conditional release to where he'll be able to coach after this year, but will not be on screen. What did you think of that news that, first off, Regal's finishing up? They wrapped him up. They got the MJF turn, but also this conditional release.
I think conditional release is it's smart. And it's also like, hey, yeah, I want to go work with my son. And Tony Khan being enough of a good guy to be like, yeah, that makes sense. That's good. How can I say no to that? And also, on one condition, you don't go over there and start cutting promos written by somebody else about the other place or whatever. Like it's fine. I think it makes a lot of sense. We know that William Regal, because he has said so in interviews, one of the things he enjoyed the most about his time in WWE NXT under Triple H was being able to travel all over the place and see new talent, give them advice, bring them in, all that kind of stuff. Him being able to do that, staying off TV, while also not having to travel because everything is situated in Orlando. He can work with his son, all that stuff. I think that's a great thing. I if you want to talk about the hey, we happened to film this two weeks ago thing, to me, I didn't. It was very odd.
They did an "If you're watching this, I'm dead" promo.
They did. If you're watching this, then I'm dead. Like I didn't know that you could do one of those, and they did. But they did.
Joey Bag of Donuts says, "Not gonna lie, never thought I'd see a 'If you're watching this, I'm dead' promo."
Yes. I loved what they did last week, and I didn't think it needed anything. I mean, like the idea of William Regal seeing in MJF his true heir apparent, the greatest young villain since myself, that kind of a thing. And then once and helping MJF screw over Moxley, because really it was more about this thing, like realizing I missed on you before. I'm not going to do it again. You are the real deal. I'm going to help elevate you. And you, under my tutelage, will become the greatest villain this business has ever known. And then MJF, once he's got the title, he doesn't need him anymore. I said last week, it's like when Richard of Gloucester became Richard III, he didn't need his co-conspirators anymore. And he had all those guys systematically assassinated because you don't need those guys because... well, how can I really trust them? They were stupid enough to work with me. Like that kind of it was perfect. He figured out a way to use William Regal to ascend to the top spot in the company and then murdered him live on television. That was it. That was perfect. You didn't need to do oh, by the way, just in case somebody kills me, everybody should have eyes in the back of your head. And the fact that I'm saying this apparently a week before I get hit in the back of my head isn't supposed to be a little heavy-handed. Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yeah, the delivery was a little heavy-handed for me too. But Joel Wood says, question, if Regal's deal is up and he asked Tony to not renew it, how can Tony enforce him not appearing on camera for a year? I mean, it was pretty clearly explained. He had an option year. He said, hey, AEW, I know that you want to renew this, but I'm asking you not to.
Right.
And as a part of AEW being like, okay, well, we won't, is saying, well, you're also not just going to waltz onto somebody else's TV. We'll let you be with your family. We'll let you do that work. And I don't think that's I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's completely reasonable. They heavily featured William Regal. So Jambeard says Regal saying eyes in the back of your head was a nice touch, considering how MJF hit him last week. Yeah, he basically said he gave MJF what he wanted, warned him to be more careful that what he wished for, because now he's going to have that target. Said that Blackpool Combat Club didn't need him anymore, but they wouldn't let him go. And the 3 members can still teach Yuta and teach him to become a great wrestler. And he says he's Blackpool Combat Club till the day he dies. And says, fellas, it's been emotional. But I mean, like, they don't have anybody from Blackpool anymore.
No, it's no longer the Blackpool Combat Club. It just isn't.
Yeah. Well,
is it the JCC, the Jacksonville Combat Club? I don't know what is it now.
Sports Time Machine said, Alex, what did you think of the Last of Us trailer for HBO Max?
Oh, it looks like it's amazing. That's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be a really cool show. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, you know what? If you want to watch it and it's not available in your area, our friends at nordvpn.com/Fightful have you covered. I was laid out last week. I had to watch a bunch of new stuff. nordvpn.com/Fightful has me there. I got that great deal, an additional 4 months free, 30-day money back for all of you wonderful people. Maybe you want to order this pay-per-view Saturday, but you want to spend a little bit less money. nordvpn.com/Fightful has got you covered on all your devices, phone, laptop, desktop, PC, router, TV, all that good stuff. Block online trackers, block annoying pop-up ads, and block malware with NordVPN, the fastest VPN in the world. You change your virtual location with just one click. I don't know, to New Zealand, to Indonesia, anything like that. And NordVPN.com. Look at that beautiful logo up there, too. I'm jealous of it. I wish we had one that cool. They've got you covered. They make sure that you're able to watch all the content you want, get pay-per-views at a much more affordable rate. It is one of the most versatile sponsors that we have. Everybody can use this. If you're watching this show right now, if you're listening to this show, you can get use out of nordvpn.com/Fightful, and you can end up saving money with nordvpn.com/Fightful. Jambeard says CCC, the Cincy Combat Club.
Not bad. Not bad. I like that too.
Joseph says, notice how Kip Sabian twirled his mustache as he walked off camera. Surprise debut by Trent Seven, possibly. That'd be a fart in church. Riga says, I love Miro, but he works best chasing gold. I'd be okay with him not being used for another little while and save it for when MJF is in the home stretch of 2024. What? I am not waiting another year to watch Miro, my friend.
No.
And he says eventually Tony comes on stage saying, I didn't want to do this, and unleashes Miro like a nuclear option. Well, Tony doesn't want to become an on-screen character, but no, I don't want to wait that long for Miro. Come on now.
No, sorry.
Come on now. No.
Get
in your super chats, get in your humper chats so we can react in that manner. We would greatly appreciate it. Anime Otaku says it's been emotional as an English football reference. Obviously appropriate during the World Cup when the team is on a good run. Yes, good soccer run. I don't know the reference, but I thank you so much for sharing it with us. Soccer, the sport that Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis invented in 2019, which is now very popular.
Yes.
Mox cut a promo backstage. He is facing Takeshita on Rampage. Tony Khan said that he's going to start stacking up Rampage again. I believe it's short term, but I mean, like, it's a missable show, Alex.
I mean, Yeah, it's also like in this era of DVR, like if you're out doing stuff at 10 p.m. on Friday,
Sure.
you can wake up the next morning or early afternoon, depending on how late you were out on Friday night, and get yourself a bowl of Magic Spoon, sit down in front of your TV, and watch it with no commercials. Like,
there you go.
I mean, people do that, I'm sure, all the time. Like, am I going to miss Moxley versus Takeshita? No, but
Sure.
like, I might not watch it live. That kind of a thing.
Somebody asks if Rampage is live this week. No, I believe it is. Taped. So, Jambeard says, "Give me Miro versus Joe for the TV Kingdom." Well, let's talk about Samoa Joe because he beat the absolute living dog shit out of Darby Allin. This was awesome. Like a concrete power slam. Like he choked out Darby. Afterwards, I think he tried to murder Darby Allin at one point. Damn, this is the Samoa Joe I've been missing.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I have been saying for a while, Darby Allin is overdue, considering just his style and the fact that he doesn't seem to have a lot of regard for his own safety. Like, he's overdue for a whoops, I tried this stuff with the wrong guy, got in over my head, and now I'm dead moment. And Samoa Joe is the perfect guy to, don't be cutesy with your whole, like, I'm going to run around and bounce off of you. Go ahead, try. I'm not moving. Like, it's that kind of a thing. Like, great, like all that stuff of like, you want to try and just run at me and see what happens. Well, I'm going to power slam you onto the concrete is what's going to happen. Also, I might run you across the apron and smash your head into the ring post so you do a complete 360 in the air and land on the barricade. I might do that. I might let you try and do your coffin drop to me, and I'll just catch you and then choke your ass out. Samoa Joe, like the refrain from the crowd is always, Joe's gonna kill you. And
Buddy Nicolas Cage about walked up on this 8mm piece of film.
Tonight, it wasn't so much of like an idle threat as it was an ironclad prophecy. Joe is going to kill you.
Oh, Jesus. Jambeard says, watching Joe murder Darby was like watching the Cowboys murder the Colts last week. It was a snuff film. It was. It was brutal. It was one of the best Samoa Joe things I've seen in recent memory. Brent Lockman says, feels like Joe will want to wrestle Darby exclusively from now on. And oddly enough, maybe Darby feels the same way. That's the thing. Now, I saw somebody say, oh, gosh, well, Darby's taking that muscle buster on the skateboard. He's not going to make it that long. Buddy, I still watch the Hardy Boys wrestle. They were teaming with Darby. Like everybody said that about Edge and Christian and the Hardys. Now, granted, Edge and Christian had some time off, but literally the bases in their feud were the ones that had to, like, Bully Ray didn't look like he was going to be wrestling. Devon's not anymore. The Hardys and Edge and Christian they're still at it. So, I mean, I get it. I think there's maybe some concern there, but I think it's a lot of faux outrage too. These people know how to take care of themselves. Call up Crowbar. He'll put you through some physical therapy. You'll be good to go.
Yeah.
We got Mitchell saying, I have two issues. One is for Darby. Seems like he wrestles the same match every time. Second, if Darby's going to take a bump like that, don't just follow it up with Juice versus Joe. Where was Juice in this? Now, granted, like where the hell was Juice in this? Like maybe it's taken that a little bit too far off of Juice. But honestly, if I'm Juice Robinson, I also probably don't want to get involved in what I don't want to be an accessory.
No.
At this point, Wardlow didn't mind, but there's an awful lot going on here, and it does make the match Saturday feel like an inevitability, which is going to happen. But I don't think this match was anything like all the other Darby matches that I've seen at all. I mean, he's going to get his ass whipped, but this was a little bit different.
I don't listen. If you told me that, and I don't think this is going to happen, but if you told me that Samoa Joe is having a match with Juice Robinson and Wardlow effectively costs him the ROH TV title, because hey, Samoa Joe basically stole the TNT title from Wardlow in his mind. Well, I'm going to steal this from you. And then you only have one title, and now I'm going to take that too. Like, that is the kind of thing that they might do. But I'm saying this whole thing of like, I love the idea of Samoa Joe as the king of television. That's such a cool moniker for him. And yeah, like him being the guy who like, yes, I will have effectively a John Cena open challenge every week, and I will murder people along the way. That's a pretty great use of Samoa Joe.
Jambeard says, watching Joe, we already read that one. Luis! But Eloquent says, the Joe walk-away spot was crazy that it was. This was one of the best things on the entire show.
Yep.
House of Black vignette, they are in action next week.
I love this. The style of this was so cool. Where he Ms. Hart, Mr. Matthews, Mr. King, and they all like get a part of the promo that was so cool. And I just love like, if anybody has a problem with what we're doing, feel free to come down and tell us that.
Yeah,
it's great. That's a really cool thing to do, man.
You need this trio to catch fire. You need this to catch fire for the division to catch fire. Board Dude 360 says Mox feels like the oldest brother when having to become man of the house when dad leaves. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that this isn't like a gigantic AEW loss. I feel like they wrapped up this story appropriately, and I hadn't seen a whole hell of a lot of progression in the BCC anyway. The most progression I've seen is Mox saying, we're done with Yas after this week. I fucking hope so. I am so sick of this.
Yeah,
so sick of this.
It is weird for the challengers to say that coming into matches where they're probably both favored to lose. Like,
I'm just so over it. Like, I love all the ingredients. I even like Jake Hager in that dumbass hat. It's just, I am so over this story. And as I've mentioned before, this has at least been going on since May. But the fact that it transitioned from Santana, Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston directly into that, it feels like it's been going on a year. And I'm just over it. But Riga says, off the top of my head, reclaiming the BCC name is easy. Next big match, have Moxley win a bloody ultraviolet match and say the black pool is the bloody pool. They leave their opponents in. Yeah, I actually like that. That's a hell of a lot better than your Miro super chat, Riga. I appreciate you. I mean, really, that legitimately, that's pretty cool. Or blood pool, like anything like that.
The blood pool combat club is pretty dark.
Yeah,
I like it.
That could work too. I could work with that. Sawyer says Miro isn't the best on the chase. He's best slapping the strap on his shoulder while aggressively praising his hot wife, who, by the way, told me he never clears those lines with her. They are always a surprise to her. She never knows they're coming, and then her social media just blows up.
That's fantastic.
Eloquent says, who's the first Triple H led WWE defection to AEW? Ooh. Well, I think right now a lot of these people are going to give Triple H the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
I still think it'll probably be Mustafa Ali. I think he'll probably head out there whenever he's
it feels like they're starting something with him where a little, maybe he gets to finally do that the real American thing that he was trying to do when he was asking out. Maybe they might be transitioning to that. I don't know.
Jericho vignette. He says that in trolling ROH, he has become the greatest ROH champion. This is what you would expect, but Claudio and Yuta end up defeating Garcia and Hager. Ian says, thought 100% Jericho wins over Claudio Saturday, but now it seems like BCC sticking around. Would be odd to break them up after this, I feel. I still think Jericho's winning it, but if there's no TV deal for ROH, I don't think Jericho's hanging on to that title. Tony says that we're going to find out more after. By the way, guys, I'll be here with Kate after Ring of Honor Final Battle. But if there's no TV deal, I think Claudio wins this.
If there's no TV deal, I think that's a good call. But the stipulation of if Claudio loses, he has to join the Yas. To me, you put that stipulation in there because you already have a whole bunch of comedy bits planned. Like Jake Hager forces him to wrestle in a copycat hat. They're the Hat Boys. So they got to come down to like whatever. Like there's all kinds of stuff that they have planned for this bit. If Claudio loses, then they're going to force him to do all this stuff. But I don't want to see that happen at all. So I'm definitely rooting for Claudio to win. And it did feel like up until this weird I'm always going to be Blackpool Combat Club for life, except I'm dead now. That kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything because I was just assuming Blackpool Combat Club was splintering and going their separate ways. Mox is going to get involved with Hangman Page. Claudio loses, has to join Yas. Maybe Brian and Yuta have a little like falling out because they never really liked each other.
No Hangman tonight. What'd you think?
What?
Hangman, like I was hoping for some major progression there.
I was hoping for that too. Maybe we see Hangman get involved with Moxley after Takeshita on Rampage. Yeah, I'm thinking we're probably going to see that. It does. I mean, they're obviously going to do a pretty good feud here coming up, a lengthy one with Hangman and Moxley. It feels like to me.
So in person, no Omega, no Bucks, no Hangman, no Jericho.
Omega and the Bucks. They had their week off from the thing. They're doing that again next week. So I don't know.
Bill says Yas loses. Jericho calls Mox a chicken, a la Needles. Feud continues for another 6 months.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't do that to us. BCC getting the win. I feel like they needed the win, especially after Regal died.
Yeah.
So Jambeard says last week after Rampage went off the air, House of Black put Cutler through that table. They told him it wasn't personal and it's because of who he hangs out with. Oh, I just want to give a lot of credit to Brandon Cutler, Julia Hart, and the shot that they set up for being the Elite, where the camera was on the ground and then it caught Julia Hart's boots walking into the shot. Yeah. And then her picking it up. And then the great camera work, immediately seeing what happened in the background. That was so good. I really loved that. Really loved it. Joel said, my main issue is having Claudio join Yas seems too similar to what they're already doing with Matt Hardy in the firm. Yeah, and unfortunately, that hasn't been something that has stopped AEW in the past, like the three concurrent, am I going to use these weapons? My teammate doesn't want me to, stories that were happening. Jamie Hayter sit-down interview. It's just fun to listen to her talk, Alex.
Yeah.
And she exudes like, and yes, I am saying it a bit because she's British, but like that almost Nick Aldis-esque quality, like the elegance of a champion type of thing. Like she's dressing like a champion. She carries she like holds it up like a champion. She talks like a champion. Like I buy everything about what she says the same way I bought Nick Aldis whenever he was trying to bring some credibility to the NWA title.
Yeah. I think that Jamie everyone gets a sit down interview except for me.
Yes.
And I'm only the undisputed champion. So, I really love what Jamie Hayter brings to all of this. I think that she's again, as you say, a very natural speaker. And I think that'll help a lot as she carries the belt for longer. But this is definitely not the thing that has the most intrigue coming out of her faction tonight, because there's a lot of people recklessly speculating for that January 11th match that they promoted.
Baddies defeated Madison Rain, Sky Blue, Kiera Hogan. This match was never in doubt. No. This could have been on Rampage.
Right.
I feel like we could have used some progression on a little bit. I would have loved to have seen Athena kicking the absolute dog shit out of somebody to say, hey, she's got an ROH title match.
I mean,
Jade is at the point to where every time, like, she tags in, she gets in the ring, she's so over. She's so over. My God, this woman is just incredibly over.
Yeah, I wonder if they're, gonna do a thing where, well, what is she at now? 41, 42-0? Like
something like that.
43 or 44 might be her versus Kiera Hogan. Might be running that story. They got to fill those other 8, 9 matches so they can get to
She's
49-0.
Today was 44. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well,
are they
actually, it's like 40. It's 43 because she didn't win a battle royal or something. There you go.
Yeah.
But I thought that everybody did fine in this match, though. Sky Blue is one that I'm glad they got her. Kiera Hogan is very good. Red Velvet looked incredible tonight.
She looked great tonight.
Oh my gosh, she exudes such a natural heel quality, as does Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Oh boy, are we ready for some reckless speculation? She challenged Saraya to a match in LA a month away and says it's going to be you and somebody else against me and Jamie Hayter. Well, we've got Joel Woods saying, is it going to be Tony time or Boss time? If it's Tony time, all due respect to Tony.
Right.
A month build?
Yeah, no.
Can't do that.
No.
If you're AEW and you have the opportunity to get Sasha Banks, you do everything
you possibly can. Yep.
Everything you possibly can do to get Sasha Banks. When I asked about the Sasha Banks stuff earlier this year, I was told that WrestleCade tried to bring her in, which would have been for last weekend. They were going to pay the amount, and then they were told, well, we can't do any wrestling stuff until after January 1st. There's a very specific date. I've had constant people say, what's up with her in WWE? What's up with her in WWE? What's up with her in WWE? I haven't heard a damn thing.
Right.
A lot of people wondering, is it Thunder Rosa? Well, I mean, Thunder Rosa, Jamie wasn't that keen on working with Thunder Rosa after what happened with them. Now, anything can change. Maybe Britt got in her ear and said, hey, listen, sometimes those people are the best people to work with. Move past it. You'll be all right. Meet Normus wants a Statlander Hirsch update. Let me tell you, Statlander ain't nowhere near ready and ain't going to be. Hirsch was a bit ahead of schedule, but it ain't going to be her. Not in this spot. All due respect. Do you think there's any possibility at Sasha Banks?
I mean, any possibility. The only reason I think it's a possibility is because they're doing the mystery partner.
And in LA.
A month from now in Los Angeles.
In a whole new year?
In a whole new year. They are leaning super hard into it being like, and the thing of it is that I would hope Tony would realize that you can't do an angle like a month from now, give a specific date, mystery partner in LA, a new year. You can't run that angle unless you have a surefire, gigantic surprise. And like, to me, the only one that fits the bill really would be Sasha Banks.
Now, so, what if it was Naomi? What if she was able to make it?
I mean, that would be really cool, but I would feel bad for Naomi if people weren't as excited for her as they were for Sasha.
And that's like nothing against her. She's fantastic.
I love Naomi. She's great, but but it's the thing that I can't scroll through Twitter at any given hour without seeing somebody speculating on where Sasha's going to go. So, like, it's a thing. People are talking about it.
Dream Ninja says 100% Sasha would be the biggest get for AEW if it happens. This is one of those things where anything other than Sasha would kill the crowd. Unless they establish beforehand that it's not.
If you know it's not going to be, then you got to announce it the week before.
I mean, WWE were like, oh, we're announcing Becky Lynch so it doesn't disappoint people.
Right. Yeah. No, if they waited to announce Becky Lynch in Boston, she would have been booed. That would not have been a thing to do.
And I mean, when it's Becky, they were doing that.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. Darren says, when you get to Saraya's segment, who do you think will be the mystery partner? Does Deanna's contract at Impact expire by then? There's nothing new on that. To follow up on the Deanna thing, I believe there was a miscommunication with her and that company. Like, when she had re-signed with them, she was under the impression that her deal was up. They were under the impression they have a rollover on that. I haven't heard any update on that. I would imagine that Deonna Purrazzo would very much right now like to be out of her deal at the end of the month. I haven't I haven't heard her say that.
Yeah.
But if you're her, why wouldn't you? Because one, you're either going to get paid more from Impact or you're going to get a lot of money from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Charles Powell says if Brawlout hadn't happened, the mystery tag partner could have been AJ Lee, but we'll never know. That would also not be a disappointment. If it were AJ Lee instead of Sasha Banks, then that would be,
especially with the connection between Saraya and AJ Lee. Like, yeah.
Yes. And Deanna in that spot also would not fit, I don't think. Meet Norma says, what's good, SRS and Linder? Thought this was a stupendous Dynamite. Like to see Jade and Britt interact on the way to Jade taking both women's belts. I think eventually that's probably what happens is Jade wins both titles and they do tag titles.
Jade on Hey EW with RJ City was straight up saying, like, maybe I'll take both belts. Yeah. Like, I don't know how canon that show is, but I love that in character she's saying, I'll just take it whenever I want it.
Yes.
You know, that's how she should behave.
Sawyer says the Britt Saraya thing has Darby saying best in the world leading to a Chicago show energy. I don't know if it's that beat you over the head with it. Because I mean, like that was even after like we had reported it on FightfulSelect.com, the best $5 in the business.
That's true.
That was happening. Jambeard says, for me, you have to have Sasha for Jade, not a tag match against Britt Hader. I'd be down if it was someone from Impact like James or Grace. I don't know. After a month build, I don't know, man.
Again, if it's like, hey, you got to go and find somebody to be your partner, and then 3 weeks from now she announces it, and we have 2 more weeks until the thing is like, okay, fine, but you can't announce that as the surprise partner at the time.
We've got Lord Zypher saying, Sean, any insight on a pre-sale code for Revolution? I don't get that stuff. I don't know. So sorry, I can't help you shave a few bucks off there, but I can help you shave a little something else with harrys.com/Fightful. Giving a great gift can make you look good, and giving the gift of Harry's to the men on your list can make them look good too. This holiday season, treat yourself or a loved one to the quality shave of Harry's starter set with everything you need for a smooth and comfortable shave. It's the perfect gift to look fresh for the holidays and the new year. I love Harry's. I'm using this all the time. Love their weighted handle. Any holiday. How about this? Not just Christmas. How about Hanukkah? How about Flag Day? How about National Chocolate Cake Day? You want to look good no matter what, right? And harrys.com/Fightful includes that 5-blade German-engineered razor, a weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and a travel cover. That's a $13 value for only $3 if you use our link, harrys.com/Fightful. You can also schedule blades to be delivered whenever you need them or for the person you're getting the gift for. harrys.com/Fightful. Get that limited edition gift box. It includes premium shaving and grooming products in gift boxes, nice enough to go right under the tree. No wrapping required. harrys.com/Fightful, a $13 value for only $3. Every guy can use this. So if you're strapped, you're trying to think of a gift, there you go, my friends. harrys.com/Fightful. Tyler says, both in LA. Trinity is Saraya's partner. Mercedes with Snoop Bow Wow to call out Jade. Listen, I'll say this again. All due respect to Bow Wow. Mercedes is more culturally relevant than him. She don't need him. But I don't mind the other idea. Sawyer says, I really enjoyed Mox putting over Hangman, falling off his horse, dusting himself off, coming at him with his fists. We could easily get a new tag team, Blackpool Combat Cowboys. Damn, that sounds like a pretty cool-ass name, honestly.
I love him saying, like, this is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking. And they happen to run that pre-tape right after one of the best talking segments in the history of wrestling.
Living Dead Frank says, as Eli Drake would say, shoes of a champion. Man, I love LA Knight. I love his work. Tom LaValle says, the sweet cheek music came from Hey EW. It's canon. Yeah. Tyler says, by my count, Julia Hart was the first female talent tonight in the House of Black vignette at 115. There's a bit more female presence in the later part of the show, but it feels like they should give Maria a backstage role if they haven't already. Well, I mean, I don't know that necessarily giving Maria a backstage role would necessarily change anything because Tony's going to have the final say no matter what. She's not going to like override what he says or anything like that. And Tony had made it clear to me that he's booking. He's always going to book, and that's going to be the case. But he also did say today on the media call that he has had conversations with her about Women's Wrestling Army. I encourage you guys to support that as well. Like, she's trying to do something special and something cool. And I can tell you, when the Trevor Murdochs and the Billy Corgans of this world are out there saying that there's not enough women to put on shows, that pisses off Maria Kanellis and Bobby Cruz, and they are motivated to put on really, really good shows. So check out what they're doing. Ian Simmons says, Jade versus Sasha, you build up. That's about the biggest women's wrestling match in that company. Bring her in with a tag match. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, I think that Jade and Sasha is, not only that, it'd be an incredible match. I think it'd be great because you got a leader like Sasha in there with the raw talent of Jade, which is getting better and better and better. Oh, yeah. Castle and the Boys versus the Embassy announced for Final Battle. I think the Embassy are winning those titles. And then we get Elite Death Triangle 4 for Winter is Coming, which we knew. But we got a badass main event. We got the Acclaimed defeating FTR clean as a sheet. No ass boys, no shenanigans. The old Randy Savage, you win him in the ring, you lose him in the ring, and if you're good enough, you're going to be over no matter what. And goddamn it, FTR are good enough because guess what I ain't talking about? FTR taking a big fat L right here because now they're going to be attached to the Briscoes.
Right.
We'll talk about that momentarily, though. The Acclaimed and FTR put on an incredible main event tag team wrestling match, and this is exactly what I wanted to see. Some good psychology, a bunch of over talent, 5 super over talent, including Billy Gunn outside. This kicked ass, Alex.
It did. It really did kick ass. And this is like the only time that I came away from it going like, oh, where was the interference? Because I didn't want to see either team take a loss here. Like, these are like, FTR is the best team in the world, and you can't have the Acclaimed lose a match, especially not for their titles. I loved how they booked the end of the match to be Cash Wheeler against 2 guys for like a minute and a half, and he finally just got a perfect added roll through to pin his shoulders to the mat. He wasn't knocked out, anything.
Yes.
But it was one of those things like, well,
he got pinned by a champion.
Right. Exactly.
The champion wrestler pinned him.
Right. I don't ever want
Grab
to
the trunks.
see FTR lose. Ever. That's
so I just want to say, I just want to put over King of the North, who was in our chat earlier. Huge pop for Alex never wanting his favorites to lose.
It's true. Hey, that's me. I never want favorites to lose. When it's FTR, who is like, I mean, they're coming down with all of these belts. It is one of those things where I just didn't expect them to lose clean in a free TV match. I didn't expect that. So I was kind of taken aback by it. More and more, I think it is the correct decision. But in the moment, I was like, well, you can't pin FTR. They're FTR. And it was one of those deals.
I just want to say this.
What?
To cut you off, the Rampage spoiler is the fart in church. Anyway.
Nice.
There you go.
Wonderful.
I was just thinking compared to other options.
Right. Yeah.
But
wonderful.
Listen, I'm not saying that I don't like that performer. I'm just saying, like,
oh yeah,
damn, I was a surprise. Like, I would just maybe have done that on the spot rather than promote it as such. But you know what? It ain't gonna be one where I'm like, this is gonna suck. I bet the match is gonna be really good.
Oh, it's gonna be really good.
There you go.
I will say that they protected Cash Wheeler and therefore FTR as much as they possibly could with the finish. I love that they were totally cool. Like they scissored. They didn't hug it out. They scissored it out in the middle of the ring afterwards. And then immediately nobody remembers that they lost this because everyone's looking forward to 3 days from now. Perfect. Perfectly done.
Indeed. This match rules. So afterwards, okay. The Briscoes thing. Again, I think what Jay said was aberrant and terrible. But I mean, like, at this point, it's just very weird. like some of the people that end up on this show.
Right.
And I don't quite get it. And like Gun Club have got to like do Briscoe's bidding. Why? Why would they want to do that? Like what, from a story perspective, why would they want to do that? I don't understand it. But double dog collar match, ROH final battle. That's great. Briscoe's got to win though. Briscoe's got to win at this point. Broadway Joe says the visual of FTR holding all those tag belts, but also losing establishes AEW tag titles as supreme. You can respect other companies' titles, but AEW is the top. I completely agree. And at this point, I kind of hope that it is and somebody says this is the Confederate flag stuff they've done in the past as well. I saw Dukes of Hazzard on the damn same show that like Raw and SmackDown were on forever. Like certainly not something that I condone or I like coming from Kentucky, especially. Fucking hate that stuff. But like, my God, man.
I think it would be like if you Google image search the Briscoes, and on the first like 10 images, a couple of them have Confederate flags in the back. I get why people wouldn't like that on their, their programming. I get it. But it does feel weird that you can promote them for a pay-per-view this Saturday on the show, but they didn't say the Briscoes, they said the Briscoe Bros, which is not actually how you say. That's not their name.
No, it's not. This ain't Jack and Jerry here. This ain't them. Custodian says, I love how organic and the Acclaimed and Sammy got over in AEW and the Fed. If FTR lose on Saturday, is their time coming up in AEW? Well, Dax told me last week he believes his deal's up at the end of April, and they have been interested in just like doing outside of television stuff. But I don't know. There's an awful lot of money to leave on the table there. An awful lot of money to leave on the table there. But yeah. Yeah. And Broadway Joe, I'm not going to read this other thing because well, actually I will. He says they still do the Confederate flag stuff. Meaning is also different now as compared to 20 years ago. It's an acknowledged symbol for a particular group of people now. Okay, let me just address this. I come from where the people that were brought up to embrace that flag are like rebel culture, not necessarily what a lot of people know it as now, but still you do become educated on what that necessarily means and what that stood for. And it's just, it don't fly. It don't fly now. And there's nobody that can say that it's a part of just rebel culture, yada, yada, yada. Because when we were in middle school, I certainly never fucked with it, but there were a lot of people who had no idea about the Confederacy. They knew it, rebel flag. You know what it means now. It's dog shit now. It always has been. This information is more readily available, easily correctable, and stuff like that. Where are they from? Delaware? They don't need to be flying that goddamn thing.
No.
Get that the hell out of there. And they don't do it anymore now. They don't. Yeah. They haven't used it in a long time. Jambeard says, do you think part of the delay for ROH TV deal is because they're trying to get the network to agree to having Briscoes on TV? No, I think that if they got a TV deal, they would just find a way to make it work no matter what. And honestly, I'm very surprised that the Briscoes haven't popped up on TV yet. Because honestly, if you were Warner Brothers Discovery, they create some compelling television. They're very, very good. JP says, fantastic main event. The pops at the beginning were great. Thought Bowen stole the match. So I fucking love this. Hey, by the way, guys, wrestlers around the world, you want Fightful doing a feature on you. We did a big one on Anthony Bowens a few years ago, and he ended up getting signed by AEW. It was more of a like, how is this guy not signed type of thing. Casey Navarro, we did a big feature on him, Alex. Guess he's at the PC this week with Kylie Ray and a bunch of ROH veterans. Casey Navarro's there. I love seeing that when Anthony Bowens gets the hot tag, that place goes crazy. That place goes wild. You love to see it. Brent Lockman says, TK mentioned an ROH creative team today. Any idea who was on that? I would imagine that Sanjay Dutt is a participant in that. He has been like a right-hand man type of thing for a while. I'll work to find out more, but man, the audience is also here to talk about this Sasha speculation. Javier says Sasha's first match in a tag match makes no sense. Well, I disagree with that. I think Sasha being in the ring with the biggest star that they have, Britt Baker, their champion, and then Saraya makes an awful lot of sense. And plus, the visual of Saraya and Sasha to any dumbass that is out there, like, there you go. Henry T. Casey says, do you think the footage of the Briscoes ripping a pride flag out of a fan's hand and a show is playing a role? I hope if something's playing a role, that is what's playing a role. I hope so, because that is not cool at all whatsoever. Javier says, do you think it's Tony, Rosa, or Sasha? I think it's Rosa. I think it's Rosa Mendez. That's who I think it is. Not really. I think I'm gonna say something also because I normally hate this kind of stuff, but I thought it was masterfully done. When the Gun Club came up on the screen, I was like, "Are we doing seriously FTR versus the Gun Club at Final Battle? Come on!" And the fact that they used them, knowing that that was going to be a reaction of some fans, they used them to then be the reveal of, no, actually, it's going to be the Briscoes in a double dog collar match was a wonderful little bait and switch. Yeah. Like that had to be intentional, and it was perfectly done. Oh, man. I put FTR versus Briscoes in a double dog collar match at ROH Final Battle on Twitter, and Austin Gunn says, yeah, I know, I booked it. Roy says, what about Kyrie as a secret partner? That'd be cool too. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Broadway Joe wraps us up. Guys, thank you all so much. You guys have been generous with your super chats. And I know this isn't like a traditional hour and a half long show, but you guys, especially on Alex's shows, have been so generous to us, and YouTube is not doing us any favors. I cannot fathom how many times I've had people say, oh, well, I can't see that you guys are live. Tap the bell for notifications and it'll do the best. We're live 3-4 times tomorrow between Spotlight, the Scrum, Day After Dynamite, and Impact. So we're all over the place. But he says, I think Sasha makes perfect sense. Do Saraya, Hater, Sasha DMD at Revolution. Sasha moves on to Jade after. Book it TK. I mean, if they get Sasha, oh boy, that is an entire demographic of fans that you just want to drag in. And Trevor says, if you notice on Barmageddon ads, she's listed as Sasha Banks, not Mercedes. Don't think she's turning up in AEW. Trevor, I don't believe that I've ever seen an advertisement for the show. I don't think I've ever seen them actually promote Barmageddon. So I have no idea what you're talking about. Completely lost on me. They should really let some people know that show is happening.
They should. I had no idea it existed.
But also a very good point. And Joel Pearl says, Impact post-show, keeping those same viewers despite the YouTube issues. Love Impact fans. Buddy, those same 1.4 thousand people, they are there because they don't have anywhere else to go. That's it. It's so weird. Like, we'll check on Facebook, and like on Facebook, the Impact show will have like 30,000 views some weeks. It's unreal. Guys, leave us a thumbs up on this video. Leave a comment under this video. It would help us out an awful lot. Interviewing Carmelo Hayes this week. Got that Shaza interview. A reminder, we've got tabs set up on YouTube now. I hate it. It sucks. It ain't optimal. But that Shaza interview is such a blast. It is so fun. I interviewed Billy Starks. We had Santino Marella. Rohit Raju was a fun one. Eric Bischoff. Jake Something. Josh Alexander. Giselle Shaw. It's not just me doing these interviews now. It's Joel Pearl, Matt Young, Grapsody, all kinds of people. Alex, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitter at Alex Sour Graps. You can find me on Fightful Select on Mondays on Fightful Select with Kate talking about Raw, and then on Fridays we do a Rampage watch along while reviewing SmackDown. It is wonderfully disconnected and disjointed and fun. People seem to really like it. So that's right after SmackDown. Put Rampage on the big screen, and on the second screen, get your boy over here talking about SmackDown while watching Rampage. That's fun. And on Tuesdays, it's become just
puns,
just a game show of who has the best puns.
Keeping us afloat right now, Alex.
Apparently, we got 170 Humper and Super Chats of puns about school last night for the NXT show. You guys are amazing.
Listen, Alex and Kate are pulling the Super Chat weight right now, and we appreciate it. Guys, thank you all so much. Meet Normus says, more money for Fightful. Now then forever, Meet Normus. Thank you so much, our friend. Until next time, guys, we're out.